Hi everyone, I'm Dina with Mills Family Gardening and welcome back to our channel. In this video, I would like to show you the amazing results of this composting method when you put your kitchen scraps right into the ground without composting them first. If you're not familiar with this method, let me just quickly explain what it involves. With this method, you take all your kitchen scraps and you put them straight into the ground. You dig a small hole, or depending on the amount of your kitchen scraps, you dig a big hole, and then you simply put all your raw kitchen scraps, veggie scraps, or fruit scraps straight into the ground, and then you cover them back up with the soil, and that way there is no smell, no odor, and it does not attract any wild animals. At least in our experience, it has not attracted any critters. Nobody tried to dig for those kitchen scraps. Even when we put fish skin or cooked chicken bones into the ground, still I haven't seen if anybody tried to dig for those kitchen scraps. And now let me just show you the result of this method of composting when you put your kitchen scraps straight into the ground. The results are amazing. So as you can see, we have some sunflowers here, and they look very happy. They're growing well, they're green and lush. Okay, now let's walk over to this side and look at these. Oh, wait a minute. Let me step back a little bit. Well, look at these sunflowers. These sunflowers were planted on exactly the same day as the first group of the sunflowers. And look at their size. The seed package said that these sunflowers are supposed to get about 4.5 feet tall. I'm sure the tallest sunflower is over 5 feet tall because it's taller than me. Now let me step further back and I will show you the two groups of sunflowers together. So this group of sunflowers on the left, they were planted in the ground without any compost. I did not put any kitchen scraps in the ground prior to planting these sunflowers. This group of sunflowers on the right, however, they were planted in the ground where I put kitchen scraps about 3-4 weeks prior to planting these sunflowers. And both of these groups of sunflowers on the left and on the right were planted on the same day. And look at the difference. Let me show you something else that's amazing. You can see zinnias, they're planted right here. They look healthy and strong. Again, they were planted just in the regular ground. I did not put any compost in here. Now look at these zinnias. I know that I planted them too close to the sunflowers, but look at them. They're already blooming and they're much taller than the other zinnias. Let me step back a little bit and show you the difference. So you can see that the zinnias on the left are much smaller and they're not even close to starting to bloom, whereas the zinnias on the right, over there, are already blooming and they look much taller. In other words, that's what happens when you put your kitchen scraps straight into the ground. Let me show you our tomatoes. Back here. Okay, now you see this area where there's some white stuff in the ground. All this white stuff is the bedding from our guinea pigs. I use it as mulch and also as a light fertilizer. And this whole area here is new. I started working on it back in January, February, the beginning of this year. And what I did, I would remove the top layer of grass, like we have grass here. I would remove it so it wouldn't grow back. And almost every night we would have kitchen scraps that I would take out in the backyard, and then I would dig, like I started at the very corner of this patch, and I would dig a small hole of 2 feet by 2 feet, and then I would put all the kitchen scraps in there. And then I would cover it back with the soil, and I would do that almost every day. And that's how I created this new patch for tomatoes and sunflowers, and we have melons right there. And as you can see, all the plants here are growing happily. This guinea pig bedding has been dug up by some animal that's been visiting our backyard at night, I assume. And obviously I need to reapply guinea pig bedding, or I need to use more mulch on top because the soil is getting hot and dry. I heard some people say that with this composting method of putting your kitchen scraps straight into the ground, it can burn the roots of plants, but it's never happened here. As you can see in this video, the plants are very happy. In fact, I never fertilize. I never use any fertilizer or any manure for sunflowers, and yet they are so tall. And while I was making holes to plant these tomato plants in the ground, I could tell that kitchen scraps were still there, half decomposed, and they actually smelled bad. But I just went ahead and planted tomato plants there anyway, and it never burned any roots, and tomatoes are growing so well and they're happy. In fact, this tomato is so tall that it's almost at the top of the trellis. Let me show you something else. I never put any kitchen scraps in the ground here where this tomato is growing. And when I planted this tomato here, it did not look healthy. A week after it was planted, it looked very thin and weak. And so what I decided to do was to put some kitchen scraps next to it. And after that, it seems like it just took off and it looks taller and stronger and healthier. Well, I hope you liked this video and encouraged you to try a new method of composting when you put your kitchen scraps straight into the ground. And for now, have a wonderful day. Happy gardening. Bye-bye.